loves, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Lisa, also known as Nurse Lee, and on my channel I talk about nursing, beauty, and lifestyle. So if you're interested in any of those topics, go ahead and smash that subscribe button and join the family. So I'm currently on my second travel assignment right now in Delaware. If you watched my previous video, you will see that I am on a travel assignment in Delaware. So I am in my hotel room right now filming this video for you guys. So in this video, I'm going to be talking about how to become a travel nurse. Now that I'm on my second contract, I decided to share with you all the tips and just basically what I did to land my travel contracts. So if you're interested in knowing what I did to land my travel contracts, if you're interested in becoming a travel nurse yourself, just keep on watching. I'm still very new at travel nursing. This is only my second assignment, but I still felt that it was necessary for me to share with any travelers who are trying to get into travel nursing so that you can also land on your first travel assignment. The first one I did was in Texas, Houston, Texas, and then this current one is in Delaware. So I had to go through quite a few steps in order to land on the contract that I wanted. It wasn't, as easy as I thought it would be, but through persistency and just really knowing what I wanted, I was able to land my first travel contract and then now my second. So if you're a nurse out there and you want to become a travel nurse, one of the things that I noticed is that you have to have at least 2 years of experience. You have to have at least 2 years of nursing experience in order to become a travel nurse. Now with COVID happening and us being in a pandemic, the rules have bent slightly. There are now a lot of travel agencies a lot of hospitals, I should say, are allowing nurses who are either straight out of nursing school or have 1 year of experience. I would not recommend you become a travel nurse straight out of nursing school. You have to have experience in order to travel to different hospitals and work in that environment. So I'm saying 2 years of experience because that's how it's been pre-COVID, and it's gonna be better off for you in the long run anyway because you have more skills. You have more skills under your belt, you have more experience, you have more knowledge, just from working as a bedside nurse at a facility for at least 2 years. Now, I'm not saying it's impossible with just 1 year of experience, but it's better to have 2 years of experience so that you're more confident when you start traveling to different facilities and start being a nurse to those patients. Now in my circumstance, I was a nurse for 2 years before traveling. And it was better off for me because, like I said, I was able to learn a lot on my unit, ask a lot of questions. If I made any mistakes, I was able to correct those mistakes so that I wouldn't make them again. It just better prepared me and built my confidence to be able to go and travel and be in another facility being a nurse, because when you travel to another facility and you become a nurse at that hospital, you don't really have orientation for like a week or so. Your orientation will literally be 2 days. In my experience, my orientation was 2 days with a preceptor and I was on my own. So you kind of have to figure everything out when you go to that hospital. You don't have much time to be precepted at all, which is another reason why it's good to get your 2 years of experience at one facility before traveling to multiple facilities. Tip number 2 is to find an agency. You want to find an agency, and through that agency is when you will get connected to a recruiter. And that recruiter will then help you apply to jobs help you apply to jobs. Like, they will find the jobs for you, present them to you, and ask you, are you interested? They will let you know, this is the hospital, this is how much you're willing to pay weekly, this is where it's located, are you interested in it? And in my opinion, I think you should do outside research before you try to, before you tell your recruiter yes. Do some outside research on, what the hospital is about, if the environment of the hospital is safe, and if it meets your pay requirement as well. So you have some things to consider before actually saying yes to your recruiter, and actually signing the contract that they will provide for you. But yes, finding agencies, there's a lot of agencies out there. Pick an agency, your recruiter, then you'll be connected to a recruiter, and they'll help you find different jobs at different locations that hopefully fit your criteria, and then you will sign on to your first travel contract position. And you don't have to sign only with one agency. You can sign on to multiple agencies until you land your dream travel assignment. At the end of the day, these agencies, you don't owe them anything, and you need to put yourself first. You need to make sure that you're putting yourself first. Whichever recruiter, presents the best assignment to you, and that's who you will sign on to. I mean, there's no penalty, no harm, no foul. It's just you doing what's best for you, setting yourself up with the best travel assignments. So don't feel bad if you sign on to multiple agencies. I would actually advise you to sign on to multiple agencies until you land your dream travel assignment. I was working with 2 agencies and 2 recruiters at one time when it came time for me to find my second travel assignment. I was working with the one agency. She was providing me with, a list of job openings, and then my other agency was providing me with a list of job openings, and I was just, comparing and contrasting, like, who was providing me with the better offer. That's who I'm going to go with. Who's providing me with the, what I'm really looking for, the place I'm trying to go, So it all boils down to who's giving you what you're looking for. Another thing you have to keep in mind when you are considering to become a travel nurse is to consider whether you want to be a local traveler or a non-local traveler. Local traveling is when you are less than 50 miles from where you live. That's considered local traveling. You're less than 50 miles from where you live, and you also will not get that stipend that they offer. If you're non-local, then the stipend is included. So it's pretty much up to you. Do you want to be very close to home and travel, or do you want to be 50 miles plus away from home? So it's definitely up to you. Those are things you have to consider, because local has its own perks and non-local has its own perks. So you have to decide, which best suits you. You also have to decide if you want to do a crisis assignment or a non-crisis assignment. I believe the crisis assignments, they pay more money. So you're going to get more money when you sign on to a crisis assignment. And those crisis assignments, you have to be willing and able to jump when they say jump. Like, they may tell you, I need you here within the next week. I need you here within the next 2 weeks, and you have to be ready to go. The non-crisis assignments give you a little more time to get yourself together and prepare, but those hourly rates will be lower than the crisis assignments. So that's something else you would have to consider. Just keep in mind that crisis assignments, they pay more, but they're more urgent, and then the non-crisis assignments are more, you have more time to, get to the assignment and prepare for the assignment. Another thing I want to mention is to keep an open mind when you are considering to become a travel nurse. It's important to keep an open mind. Just know that things will be different. Things may not go your way. You have to be open to change. Very important to be open to change. Very important to just be non-judgmental when you go to the facilities. Don't judge. Just, you're there to do an assignment. You're there to help them out. The hospital may operate differently from what you're used to at your staff hospital that you were working at. it's not going to be operating the same, so you have to keep an open mind and be willing to learn the new protocols that happen at that hospital that you travel to. You know, they will be doing things different than what you're used to. I've seen it myself, and in my mind I'm just like, that's not how we did it. That's not how we did it at my hospital, that at my staffing hospital. But it's like, okay, Lisa, you're not at your staff job anymore. You're now a travel nurse, so you have to be open and willing to learn how it's done on the unit in order to successfully complete the assignment. You know, and I'll give one example. Like at my staffing job, the way we give medications, we wheel around computers. We call them cows, computers on wheels. We wheel the computer into the patient's room and we scan the patient's bracelet, we scan the medications before administering the medications, right? So then I traveled to this new facility in Delaware, and they're like, oh, we operate off of these cell phones. These hospital operated cell phones is what we use to scan the patient and administer the medication. And I'm like, whoa, you mean I don't have to take a whole computer in there? You mean there's not a computer already in the room for me to scan the patient? I have to walk around with a cell phone? I mean, wow. So it took the load off of me a little bit, because I'm literally just carrying a lightweight cell phone into the patient's room that's hospital operated, and scanning the patient with that cell phone, scanning their bracelet, and then scanning the meds. And I was like, wow, this is easier. Not only is it easier, I had to get used to it. I had to learn it. That's my whole point in telling you guys that, is that I had to learn it. You know, it's not something I was used to at my staff job. I had to adjust to how the hospital does things, and that's how they administer their medication, is through the phone. So yes, that is another thing that you have to keep in mind, is to be open-minded, be willing to learn. Don't walk in there telling them, oh, this is how I did it at my hospital. Oh, this is what I did at my hospital. This is what I did at the hospital I came from. They don't care. They're not there to hear all of that. They want you to follow their protocols and how they do things and complete the job. So the last thing I want to talk to you guys about is to make a checklist. I think that's very helpful if you make a checklist of what you're looking for in your travel assignment. Whether it's, you know, you can write down the location you want to be in, whether the temperature of the location, you want to be in a hot environment, a cold environment. Write down what you're expecting to be paid weekly. You know, that's important, to write down what you want your pay to be. Also jot down, you know, if you want to be, what kind of hospital do you want to be in? You want to be in a larger hospital, a smaller hospital, teaching hospital, community hospital? What hospital are you looking to be in? Just write down your criteria of your dream travel assignment, so that when you do apply with an agency, it'll be easier for you to tell your recruiter what you're looking for, because you will already have it written down. You can also write down questions that you may have for your recruiter, you know, and I can also do another video on the questions that I wrote down. It was easier for me to write down my questions, so that when I spoke to my recruiter, I was just hitting her with questions after questions, because they don't the recruiters sometimes will not touch on everything. So when you ask your questions, it's very helpful for you to get a clear understanding of what you're going to get yourself into. So that being said, if you guys want a video on important questions to ask your recruiter when it's time for you to do your travel assignment, I can do another video on important questions for your recruiter. Just hit the like button so that I know to keep this going. So yeah, you guys, those are mainly the steps I took when it came to me applying for my travel assignments. Those are just some things to consider, and then you will actually apply. So after you consider all those things that I've mentioned, then go ahead and apply, and then work with your recruiter. Your recruiter is there to help you. If you feel like your recruiter is not doing a good job, you know, opt to get another recruiter. Just, you know, use your recruiter to your advantage as much as possible. You have to be comfortable with the contract that you're signing, so it's very important for you to build that rapport with your recruiter. I hope this video was helpful to you all. if you are a nurse and you're trying to become a travel nurse, go ahead, go for it. I wish you the best. If you have any questions, if I may have forgotten anything and you have a question, leave it down in the comments box below. I'll answer your questions. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you found it helpful, hit the like button. If you haven't already subscribed, subscribe, and I will see you all in my next video. Thank you so much for watching. Bye, guys.